And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I'll let the tagline for Quack in the Box speak for itself. It says, the fun card game of medical malpractice. Now, you can accuse me of having no sense of humor in this regard, but I don't mind a silly game, I suppose. But in this one, you are going to be in both a incompetent and unscrupulous doctor. You're basically going to be treating patients with whatever you happen to have on hand that time, trying to get as much money as possible, while at the same time attempting not to kill as many as you can, but whatever. It's all about winning money and not killing too many patients. Ha-ha! Let's look at it. There are two decks of cards in the game, and you need to have both of them. One of them is a deck of patients, the other is a deck of cards for your hand. You also need a die, which is not included in the game. Of course, all my watchers have a Dice Tower die. And then you need a piece of paper or some way to keep track of how much money players get. I'm not a real big fan of not everything being included in the box of a game, but, well, be as it is, that's what happens. So, at the beginning of your turn, if you don't have a patient, you will draw the top patient from this pile and turn it over. So, for example, here's a 51-year-old male with an infected bug bite, and he has infectious. That's his problem. Now, there's a couple things on this card. And let's take a closer look at the cards so we can see about them. He needs, you notice at the top, a cure of 3. That's how many points it takes to cure him. A kill of 9. That's almost like his hit points. That's how long it takes before he's killed. And then down there at the bottom, infamy of 5. If you do kill him, that's how much infamy you will get. After you do this, you're also going to have refill your hand up to 6 cards. But you're going to roll the die each turn. And the number that you roll on a die is how many cure cards you must play on the patient. Now, players are going to have a handful of cards. These cards are made up of different treatment cards that they're going to have, and also some anytime cards, cards that they can play anytime. They don't count as the treatment cards, but I have to play 2 of the treatment cards. Now, when I play a treatment card, for example, let's say I play medicine on this gentleman. Now, the most important thing, at least in this game, to you is, hey, if I play medicine, I'm going to get the $800 that it shows in the upper corner there. Now, medicine down here at the bottom will show that it cures oncology, but this guy doesn't have that. And this does 7 damage to pregnancy, 6 damage to infectious, and 3 to all others. Well, this guy is infectious, so this actually does 6 damage to him. So I put it on this side to show that it does 6 damage. Now, if it had done 9 damage, he would be dead. And so I look through my cards and I find out, hey, I don't have anything that actually helps infectious diseases. So you know what? I'm just going to play this low abdominal laparotomy, or whatever that's called. And this cures abdominal surgery, but it harms all others for 4. So I put that over here, and 4 plus 6 is 10. This guy only needs a 9 to kill him, so he's dead. But as a doctor who is unscrupulous and evil, I at least am happy with the fact that I got $2,400 from him before he died. So he's dead, and I get 5 points of infamy. Now, the point of the game is to get as much money as you can, but if you get too much infamy, then you are killed by an angry mob, or chased down by an angry mob, or whatever. Something to do with an angry mob. And you can play to a certain amount of infamy, like you could play to 6 points of infamy, you could play to 9 points, 12 points. That's basically, it depends on how long the game goes. Now, on the other hand, if you managed to cure your patient, there's some cures that help everything. Like this treatment, take a complete history, it helps everybody. You know, that's great. The only problem is that doesn't give you any money. But here, let's say I played some medicine here. This treats infectious diseases for 3. Then I would cure him, and I would still get the money, but I wouldn't get any infamy. Well, that's pretty good. The problem is the game forces you to play a certain amount of cards. Let's say you roll a 6, then you have to play all the cards from your hand that you can play at that point in time. And other players are going to be playing these anytime cards on you that will, you know, this guy has terrible insurance, and so you only get $500 or more. There's all different things that you can do to mess other players over, and then there's just all sorts of treatments that you can play on these different patients. So if we look at the different patients, and we'll see that there's different patients, and the artwork is kind of humorous, but not over the top. And different patients have different amounts and different cures. Some patients at the bottom, like for example, this young gentleman here has a mortal thing here at the bottom. That means if more than 6 cure cards are played on him, then he will die also. So you can't just sit around and work forever. You need to get going. Now this is one thing about the game. I don't know, again, maybe this is because this is something that has happened to me personally, but I mean, maybe I could see the humor in, this gentleman here and the silliness of trying to cure him, but trying to cure a 2-year-old male with pneumonia, I'm not really sure what the humor is in killing off a 2-year-old with pneumonia, but that is what the game is about. So you're trying to get as much money as possible. At the beginning of your turn, you can choose to flee to Switzerland. Apparently they allow unscrupulous, murderous doctors to go there. And then all the money that you have is yours. So you either flee to Switzerland or you keep going until you kill off all your patients. And then the mob gets you. And whoever has the most money at the end of the game wins, although anybody killed by the mob is dead. Well, there you have it. Gameplay, let's look at gameplay first. Gameplay's okay. The idea is a good one in the sense of trying to play things that help you in one regard, even if they hurt you in another. But it really, when it comes down to it, is fairly random. If I have to play all the cards in my hand, well then, what's the point? And the other cards that take that card, so another player's, it gives you that take that. Artwork is okay. It brings a bit of comedic value to the game. But, now, I know that some people, when they watch this, they'll say, you have no sense of humor, blah, blah, blah. I guess the thing I get out of this game is that I'm all for a sense of humor, but this game, it almost makes it realistic, and then that's not funny. The artwork is cartoonish, kind of, but not really that cartoonish. And in what universe are people laughing when they've killed off a small child? I guess I just don't see how that's funny. If they were, people coming in and they just looked really kind of odd and you were killing them off, maybe you could justify that more, although maybe not. The theme is certainly going to turn a lot of people away, but at the same time, I almost feel like the theme is the only part of this that's really decent in this game, and it's really not that great of a theme. So I'm going to have to give this one an avoid. I played it with some people who did enjoy it. They like the take that nature of the game. I'm not a huge fan of take that natures, but the theme in this one, I'm not finding it as interesting. If the patients didn't die, or you just chased them away because they got fed up with you, maybe that would be more palatable. But at the same time, maybe it's because I have kids constantly going to doctors and hospitals. I don't know. I'm a big fan of doctors, and so okay, I'm probably the wrong person for this theme. So take it as you will. But take the theme out, and it's still not that good of a game. So you've been warned.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.